Okay. All right. So, hi. I'm Jason Grinblat. I'm the co-creator of Roguelike called Caves of Qud.
I'm Nick DeCapua. I'm the primary playtester of Caves of Qud. I played it since the beginning.
Yeah. So, okay. So what we're going to do today is a little different and unpracticed. So basically, we're going to do like a live playthrough session of Caves of Qud. But it's choose your own playthrough of Caves of Qud. So we're going to incorporate your choices. We're going to have some branching points depending on what happens in the game, and we're gonna query you for what we should do. And Nick is gonna be the expert here, and he'll sort of synthesize the maybe right decision with your decision now. And
or get us all horribly killed.
Yeah, or get us all horribly killed. So a couple things, if you haven't heard of Caves of Qud, so let me just talk about it briefly. So Caves of Qud is a roguelike. It's an open world roguelike. It's heavily inspired by Adam. I'm glad we're following Thomas here. So it's kind of a science fantasy, new wave science fiction, weird mashup of a whole lot of genres. It's heavily inspired by a pen and paper role-playing system called Gamma World, which was a derivative, Gamma World fans? It was a derivative of Dungeons and Dragons that was around in the 70s, and it was sort of like this pulpy science fiction world where nuclear radiation had uplifted a bunch of animals and plants to human level intelligence, and there were crazy robots, and it was this sort of post-apocalyptic world where the vestiges of the old pre-fall past were obscured enough through time and through weird cultural mashups that they weren't as discernible as something where Fallout you can very much identify with the culture that existed before the fall. Okay, so basically what we're going to do here, so Caves of Qud, it's a big messy game. We only have an hour, so what we thought we would do is we have some scenarios planned. We have 3 of them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read them out to you, and then we'll do a show of hands, and you'll choose the one that sounds most interesting. And that'll be our overarching goal, but of course it's a roguelike, so we don't really know what to expect. We might deviate from that. We'll see. And then we'll jump into character creation, and character creation is very important and intimate in Caves of Qud, and so we'll all do it together, and we'll go from there. And we'll see how far we can get in an hour. That's the plan. Okay. So I'm gonna read some scenarios to you and kind of just meditate on which of them sound most interesting. Okay. A sect of genius albino cave bears. Yes, a sect of genius albino cave bears with quills to boot. The Bearthrumites are trying to restore Qud to its former technological splendor, and they need your help. You see, due to an unfortunate accounting error, the Bearthrumites accidentally flushed the wrong Waydroid down the trash chutes of a noxious scrapyard called Golgotha. Turned out the poor thing was sentient. Now they need you to retrieve it, but be careful. Golgotha's trash chutes are home to many horrors: sewage eels, flesh-eating crabs, a disease that rots out your tongue, and a 12-foot-tall slug. It'd be best to jump down a chute, recover the Waydroid, and get out as quickly as possible. Otherwise, you might become the next bag of trash to be processed. Scenario 2. Someone once said this was a world of paper and bone, and encased beneath the shale crust of earth lies the crypts of 1,001 kings. What if you were to tease out the locations of these tombs from the porters of their secrets? The vine-swathed shrines, the engraved trade goods, the folk who share their tales over a dram of fresh water. If you could do that, why, then you could travel to them, break the chrome seals that shelter them from the salted air, and plunder them hollow. A merchant would pay through the teeth for such fossils of the entombed past. Or better yet, you could don the raiment of these ancient kings, emerge from their crypts unscarred, and take what you want from merchants and farm folk alike. Okay, scenario 3. Deep in the verdurous jungles east of the river Svai, a shamanistic man-goat has made the woods his home. There, he slaughters his own kind, bathes in their blood, and recites the incantations of another world. It's said that he's under the enthrallment of an unearthly charm, a glass prism fired in the burning gases of a distant star. Those who have sought him out have all disappeared. Now it is your turn. First, travel to the mushroom village of Kayukakaya and speak with the one who wards their simple huts, a man-goat himself. He will tell you what you need to know to face the enigmatic man-goat known only as Mammon Soul Drinker. Okay, so of those 3 scenarios, if you were interested...
Wait, let's review
review
the scenarios.
So that, like, I don't know if that made any sense anyway. Like, it's supposed to be like a bunch of crazy, like, just prose that you know, it's a thing, whatever. It's like a D&D setting, right? Like, the idea behind this, I think, is that I'm going to kind of, like, GM this Caves of Qud session, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, so if you were most interested in that first scenario where there's a sect of albino cave bears and you're helping them, you're going to go to this noxious scrapyard and recover this sentient Waydroid, raise your hand. Okay. Wow. Okay. Actually, put your hand back up. I'll do a quick count, because, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, what? Okay, all 3. So I'll start with I'll summarize them. Okay, so cave bears, noxious scrapyard, rescue the Waydroid.
That's 1.
That's 1. Go and explore the crypts of ancient kings and recover their artifacts and put them on and be, you know, awesome. That's 2. And 3 was there's a psychic man-goat in the jungle, and you have to find him and figure out what he's all about. Okay, so first scenario...
Might have something to do with dismembering and
there's
like burning people alive.
But really, there's, like, dismembering probably in all 3 scenarios, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so albino cave bears. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. Ancient kings. Okay, that lost. Man-goat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, I think man-goat won.
Wow.
It was close. Okay, so... All right, so let's jump. Let me just see. Oh, whatever. All right, let's jump into character creation. So, character creation is like a really creative act in Caves of Qud. Like, you know, speaking to Ben's talk about, it's very much inspired by those like 90s era 4X games like Master of Magic, where like it's supposed to just sort of like flood your brain with possibilities for what maybe this game's about and what you can do in the world. So we'll sort of walk through it together. Okay, so the first decision you have to make when you're making a character in Caves of Qud is if you want to play a mutated human or a truekin. So a mutated human is a human with mutations, and these mutations can, like, they're quite varied. There's over 70 mutations in the game, and you assemble your character from, like, as many as you can choose, essentially. And so there's things like, they're kind of like, you could have, like, animal body parts, like you could have a tail or a stinger or a multiple legs, or you could have, like, mental powers. You can, like, rip a space-time vortex open, or you can, like, teleport, or you can create time clones of yourself. So I think the most interesting way, okay, so yeah, so that's a mutant. So truekin can't do any of that. They're kind of hardier. They are basically pure strain descendants of these enclosed hermetic arcologies that are kind of mysterious. They're a little more like, they have better attributes than mutants, but the thing that they get is that they can install cybernetic implants, which is a cool thing to be able to do. So like you can have like treads instead of legs, or you can have, what's another cybernetic implant? Like giant hands is one of them.
Metal fists.
Metal fist, yeah. So this, you know, like things like that. All right, so I guess, again, let's do a show of hands. So if you want to do a mutated human, raise your hand. Okay. Okay, and truekin. 1, 2, okay, I think mutated human's going to win. Okay, so mutant wins by about 2 to 1. Okay, so yeah, we're going to skip that screen because don't worry about that.
We're not going with all 10 for stats, but we'll come back.
This that screen shouldn't even be here. Like, this points to a flaw in that. But anyway, so now what we're going to do is we're going to pick our mutations. So again, there's like 70 mutations. We're not going to list them here because the UI is kind of not great, and we don't want to read 70 mutations. So I think a more interesting way to do it is, you're the audience, you have a mic somewhere, and like if you just think of a mutation that you might like to have, like multiple legs or something that might affect your body or a mental power you can think of, I'm interested, especially if you haven't played Caves of Qud, but if you have played, you can do it too. But I'm interested in like your thoughts on what type of character, what type of mutant you would like to play. So if you could just like say a mutation, and then maybe like if someone raises their hand and that person could take the mic, and we'll see if we could match that with the mutation that exists in Caves of Qud. Okay, so hold on. So I saw you raise your hand, so we'll start you in a second. But what I think we're going to do is we're going to let you pick a mutation, and then we're going to let Nick pick a mutation, and then we'll alternate. And the reason for that is that there are obviously like 70 mutations. You can pick any combination of them. There are, hundreds of thousands of combinatorial possibilities. A lot of them are terrible. Like a lot of them will create characters that will just flat out die, and that's part of the experience of learning Caves of Qud. But
I like terrible mutations.
You like terrible? Okay,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
Nick might pick terrible mutations.
I might pick terrible mutations.
Okay, well in that case, but the idea is that we'll try, because we only have an hour, we're going to try to pick a character that's a little bit survivable. Another thing that we're going to do, which I didn't mention, I want to mention now, is that we're going to not start at level 1. Like right when we get in the game, we're going to do like a debug command to give us a little more XP, just so we could get to some of the more interesting parts of the game, just because, again, we have an hour and whatever. But, okay, so do you have a mic? Or do you? Okay, you have a loud voice, that's fine.
Like either laser eyes would be awesome, or like you're blind but you have like echolocation.
Okay, yeah. So
I haven't played Caves of Qud, by the way.
No,
Well,
that's
there are
perfect.
two options. There's a mutation that's like heightened hearing, which will show us things that are outside of our field of vision, or there is a mutation which is light manipulation, which will let us shoot lasers with our minds. But of course, who's to say that the lasers aren't coming out of our eyes?
Sounds
Really?
good. Let's go with light manipulation.
Well, I guess
great.
you're to say that. You're the creator.
No, they're coming from your eyes, sure.
Oh, okay.
A lot of canon. It's canon. Fun fact is that there actually used to be an echolocation mutation, like I actually don't think it ever made it into the public version. Like
No.
one of the first mutations we cut, we had this like complex like sonar bouncing off walls, and like you could do this sonar attack, but it was like I don't know, it was bad. So, but yeah, that's a good one. Like so, lasers from your mind/eyes. So yeah, let's pick that. That sounds good. Thank you. So
Okay.
we're going to pick that. We have light manipulation. So each of the mutations cost a certain number of points, but we're not going to worry too much about that. I'll let you know if we're having some trouble. So do you want to pick one or?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So so I'm not going to totally pick safe mutations or like the best mutations. I'm going to pick the most fun from among the best mutations, but that might still be a little dangerous.
Sure, that's good.
But first, I really like having multiple legs. Personally,
Multiple legs.
I mean, not well. I mean, I've never had multiple legs in real life, but that's why I like Caves of Qud, is it lets me sort of experience that. So we'll go with multiple legs.
Okay. So to recap, so far we can shoot lasers from our eyes, and we have multiple legs. So to be specific, we have an extra pair of legs. Like,
How many is normal?
how many do you have? Good question. Like, you want to establish the baseline. You have 2 legs normally, both in Caves of Qud and elsewhere. But so now we'll have 4 legs, which will make us move more quickly. Light manipulation will let us shoot lasers from our eyes, but actually it'll also produce just like ambient light around us, which is quite useful because normally to light a dark area, you would need to carry a torch.
And you can deflect laser beams.
Okay, and you could deflect laser beams, that's true. Okay, so someone else who has an idea for a mutation, you. Oh, explosive effect that you throw.
A couple. I think there are a couple options there.
Yeah, so what options do we have?
So we'll give you some choices. So that can either be like a pyrokinetic effect, if you want it to be like a heat sort of explosion. If you want to be more about like the blast, there is a mutation called concussive force, which will let us just create an explosion wherever we want. There's also an argument for disintegration, which will just create a field from our character that will destroy everything around us, but it will exhaust us for a few rounds once we use it. So Yeah, one of those might.
Can we do the? I think I'll go with the pyrokinetic effect.
Pyrokinetic.
Okay, pyrokinetic.
Let's light
Okay.
some fires.
Yeah, lighting fires is fun. So that's
Okay.
like.
So we actually don't have enough points
Oh, we don't
for
have enough points.
pyrokinesis, but well, what we can do is
What's
we can
Kindle right there.
select a defect.
Yes. So there are defects. So we're going to select a defect, and since it's your turn, you select a defect. There is a defect that you
Okay.
really like to select often.
Yeah, well, my favorite defect, so there are a bunch of defects, and defects are things like blinking tick, which lets you randomly, or doesn't let you, it teleports you around against
It's
your will.
teleportitis.
There
Or
are
like, yeah.
things like spontaneous combustion, beak, of course, is a popular one.
Beak, of
that one
course.
you have of course, your face bears an unsightly beak, of course. Well, my personal favorite is Evil Twin. I should say this is an extremely dangerous character to have Evil Twin with because we can shoot lasers with our mind. We can create, well, we're going to be able to create these explosions of fire, and we're really fast. So, well, do you want to describe what Evil Twin does?
Yeah, so Evil Twin's fun. So the description here is acting on some inscrutable impulse, a parallel version of yourself travels through space and time to destroy you. So what this means is that basically every time you walk onto a new map, there's a small chance that your evil twin from some dimension has tracked you down. And then you have to fight a clone of yourself. It's like a clone of like your current powers and equipment is spawned and you have to fight him, her, it, whatever. So like it's very dangerous if you have a powerful offensive character, which we do. So that's fun.
Which we have 2 of.
Okay, yeah, so we're going to pick pyrokinesis, and then we're going to have 1 point remaining after that. So there's only a few 1-point mutations.
I would make a recommendation here.
Okay, what's your recommendation?
So we're chasing a psychic man-goat of extreme power. And also we're pursued by an evil version of ourselves who's traveling through time and space to destroy us.
Yeah.
It would be good to sense when they're like nearby at least. So there's this mutation called Sense Psychic, which will let us at least see, where they are on the map, and hopefully that can give us enough early warning. Because these mutations, like if they catch us off guard, there's a chance, a not so small chance that they will destroy us and dismember us and turn us
Yes.
to ash.
Okay, so I think that's good. So so here's what we'll do. So now Nick is going to allocate our stat points because that's kind of like a sort of, grognardy thing, and we don't need, like, he'll do it and we'll just discuss. I'll recap the character we created. Okay, so we are a mutant. We're a mutated human. We have the ability to shoot lasers from our eyes. We have pyrokinesis, which means we can like heat an area with our mind and set it aflame. We have multiple legs, and we have the ability to sense other psychics. We are our psychic ourselves, and then a parallel version of ourselves is tracking us through space and time to destroy us, right? So I think that's kind of the summary of what's going on. Okay, so we have some stats. We have our mutations. Okay, so one last thing is like we're sort of a mutant in this kind of strange, verdant alien world, and we have to choose what's called a what do we call it actually? A caste, right?
Subtype.
Yeah. Subtype? That's weird. It's basically like a class. It doesn't actually have too much effect in Caves of Qud. Your mutations are much more important. But what it'll do is it'll give us our starting skills and it'll adjust our stats a little bit. So without going through all of them, like there are things like Marauder. So you were sort of pillaging villages, or you could be a apostle. You were sort of proselytizing to the people of Qud, or maybe you were tinkerers. I don't know. Just think. Does anyone have an idea of like a type of profession you might want to be? Yeah.
What's the water merchant?
What's the water? Okay, that's a good question. Thank you. So this world, one interesting thing about the world of Qud is that fresh water is actually the currency of the world. So not only do you have to carry it around and drink it because there's a sort of survival mechanic based around that, but it's also how you buy things in the world. You trade fresh water, and so a water merchant might be important in that world, right? So a water merchant's interesting because they start with a lot of ego, which affects like trade prices when you go and talk to people. It is also good because it boosts our mental mutations, which is very important as a mental mutant. And then we also start with like a bunch of water, which is good in this world. It's like starting.
I don't
with
know
a
how
bunch
good
of
it
gold.
is. I put no points into strength, and
Oh.
with water merchant, sometimes you start with so much water that you are just overburdened.
Yeah.
So no, I mean, I guess that's a good problem to have, but we might not be able to move when we start.
Sure.
It's fine. If we have too much water, we'll
All
drop
right,
it.
why don't we do
let's
it?
go with
Well, we
water
could
merchant.
drop some water if we need to do it. Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, and we're a snake oiler. of
We're
course.
snake oiler.
We're snake oiler.
Yeah. Did you say what is snake oiler?
Well,
Snake oiler is you're kind of like you are like a silver tongue merchant kind of character. So you're better at trading. You're kind of better at scamming people out of their wares. Okay, so we were thinking we would just roll a random name. I don't know.
Unless somebody has a good
If someone has a name,
suggestion
can come
for
up
like
with
a
name.
multi-legged mind wizard.
What?
It's just-
Anyone? No. Okay, we could roll
oh,
a
wait,
random.
there's
Yeah.
Rodney?
Rodney.
Rodney.
Do you approve of Rodney?
Sure. Let's go with Rodney.
Okay, we're Rodney.
just to clarify, we have multiple legs, like 2 or many?
Noah. Okay. Multiple legs doesn't just mean you have your normal pair of 2 legs.
Yeah,
No.
if you don't get that, you only start with 1 leg. It's really bad.
No, we have 4 legs. Okay, so there's some text. Always skip the text. No, don't do that. We're going to kind of ignore it because what we're going to do, like I said, we're going to fast forward. We're going to give ourselves a little XP and equipment by doing a debug wish command called stage 3, I think you did, right?
Stage 4.
Stage 4. Oh, okay, yeah. So we're going to start at a kind of high level because this, as we discovered when we were playtesting this last night, this quest is quite difficult. And even with doing this, like, whether or not we'll succeed or not is quite up in the air. Okay, so I think
Do you want to talk about what we're seeing here?
Oh, let's talk about what we're seeing. Okay. So this is the world map. So Caves of Qud is very much inspired by Adam and kind of like other open world games. So there's a world map that you could travel across. The world map's actually statically generated, and each of these little tiles that you enter is a map of 3x3 procedurally generated tiles, and their builders are all based on the type of terrain you're in. So right now you start off.
We're up here.
Oh yeah, we kind of got teleported up here.
Yeah,
and we
normally
have
you
this-
start if you start
What-
a normal game, you're going to start down here.
Yeah.
But because of the debug command that we used, we're all the way.
Can you zoom in a little bit actually? So we're using
yes.
this new. There's a new UI that we're using, which I think is going to be a little better because we can zoom in and see our character a little better. Okay, but wait, we have something else to do first because we're level 18 now, right? Yeah, we're level 18. So because we've advanced our character to level 18, we have some. Wow, we have so many mutations. Yeah, we have some.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have mutation points to spend. That's exciting. So what that means is we could either increase the power of our current mutations.
We
You
should
can
do.
like level up your mutation by 1 point, and it'll get your mutation to the next level, and it'll do like kind of like pyrokinesis means we'll do more damage and make things hotter. Multiple legs means we can move faster, or we could spend 4 points and buy a new mutation. That's
I have a question.
yeah.
Can you level up your evil twin?
You cannot level up your evil.
Thankfully.
So
Thankfully.
the defects.
But one funny thing about Evil Twin is Evil Twin has everything that we have when he spawns. So if we like find an awesome like rifle, he's gonna show up with it.
Yeah.
If so Evil Rodney will show up with it. If we level up pyrokinesis, he's gonna have the exact same power level that we will. So by benefit, like any choice that we make here will also level up the Evil Twin.
Okay, so do you want to level up some of our mutations, or do you want to buy a new mutation? More legs. No, okay. So when you level up, okay, yeah. So let's level up multiple legs.
Okay.
They really want. So it doesn't. I should clarify that it doesn't mean we're getting more legs. Unfortunately.
This is what's happening per level.
I'm sorry.
But it can if we wanted to, right?
you can't.
That has been a suggestion that you should
can't
be
get
able
it
to
multiple times, right?
purchase
Yeah.
it multiple
You
times.
should be able
and
to
then-
do that. We'll put it on the feature request list, and but you can't right now. Okay, so we leveled it up a few times. Okay, we still have a bunch of mutation points. So should we buy a new mutation because that's fun?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do that. And when you buy a new mutation, you get a choice of 3.
Oh,
so,
these are good.
Okay, here we go. We have 3 mutations. We have time dilation. This will let us slow time in the area around us, making enemies near us slower. We have cryokinesis, which is essentially like the inverse of pyrokinesis. We can freeze and also deal damage to things in like a 3x3 area. Or we have force bubble, which is this like force field that can come up around us and it'll travel with us as we move along. It's like this activated ability that will have a cooldown, but is a good defensive mutation. So I guess let's just do a show of hands. Oh, do you have a yes?
Time dilation fits with your nemesis. Time dilation fits with your nemesis traveling through time. And
This is
space.
true. So a thematic argument for picking time dilation is that we have a evil twin chasing us through space and time. It might make sense that we can warp space or time. Yeah, so that's good. So let's do a show of hands. So how many people want the time dilation? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cryokinesis.
Uh-huh.
Someone wanted cryokinesis. Force bubble.
I think time dilation won.
Time dilation wins.
But a funny side note about Force Bubble is that if we had selected that, Evil Twin does not know how to deal with their own Force Bubble, so they...
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. So, okay. Okay, so something happened already. We haven't even started playing the game yet, really. Okay, so I'll just read this to you, and we'll see what you think. Okay. So it's a little text bubble here. Okay, you are being watched. It's a familiar feeling when someone has watched you in the past, when it's light that's betrayed your presence. You made a friend of the darkness. You pulled your hat brim low over your eyes. You stepped behind the cover of a thatched wall. But those who watch you now, in spite of such simple obstructions, their sight isn't mediated by the rays of a gleaming star or torch, but by something much older. If there are ways to conceal yourself from these seeing eyes, if there are new kinds of darkness to befriend, you know nothing of them. Okay, so let's move on.
Best to not question that.
So we have, so
I'm just going to level these up.
Why don't you level those up?
We also don't have the most time to
Yeah.
hunt after Mammon.
Okay, so
we'll see how it goes.
Let's start. Let's start the game already. There's a lot of preparation to the Caves of Qud character creation, so that's But we're about to start. Okay, we're gonna buy some skills very quickly. So while that's happening, this is like the character menu, and I'll remind you what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be traveling to this mushroom village, as it was described to us, to speak with the warden there, who has information for us about this psychic man-goat that we're to be hunting in the jungle. So as we get to the village and as Nick is walking through the jungle and we sort of encounter strange things, if we do, I'll request some input from the audience to try to figure that out. And if nothing particularly interesting is happening where we would need input, we'll just kind of talk about what's happening and tell you a bit about Caves of Qud and the situation we're in, essentially. Okay, so
we're ready.
We're ready for that. So the first thing we have to do, we start up in this kind of northwest corner of the map. We're up. Can you hit Alt maybe?
I don't know if that works here. Oh, it
Yeah,
does,
so
okay.
we're the little green. This is like an Alt display you can see to actually tell what's going on. So we're the little green tile up in the sort of northwest, and we need to go to this mushroom village, which is due south of us, directly south.
It's right here.
Now the problem is we have to walk there, and that might go uneventfully, but it might not. So that's going to be the first challenge. So let's start
we're
walking
wearing
there.
it. Okay, so here's what we're wearing.
Oh
So
yes, okay. So we have some equipment. So we have
So we're wearing some plate armor. We've got a crazy cloak. We've got an awesome gun. Wow.
Yeah.
And wait, So we have yet to see if we're carrying too much to move.
Okay. So we will now see if we can move in the game. We are going Okay.
Okay, so we've got to drop some stuff.
Don't just drop it on the world
What?
map.
No, we're dropping it.
Oh. Okay, so we're going to...
Okay, this is you. Oh, I equipped it. Okay, we're dropping it. We don't. You're right, actually. Good point.
Well, you
Because
don't-
we can manipulate light. So.
Well, you probably don't want to... Oh, you have a glow sphere too, so that's fine.
Yeah, and I equipped it.
So, in terms of, like...
Oh, did you see studded leather?
studded leather,
Let's see what it has.
it's been suggested that you drop the studded leather.
Let's drop all of this armor. What are we carrying this for?
Okay, I think we're probably good, right?
Okay, yeah, we're good now.
Okay, so can you zoom in again so we can see?
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Okay, so I'm gonna start heading down there. Now the jungle is like really dangerous. There's a chance we could become lost. I think that's what you were starting to say.
That is what yes. So, the jungle's
I'm
pretty
gonna bind
dangerous.
My abilities here.
Okay, we have some abilities that we have to hotkey. There's so much like preparation to do when you start.
That's fine. We're gonna beat him.
Okay, so we also have some weird skills. Like we can berate our enemy. We could make them feel bad about themselves.
Oh.
Oh, we're dying of hunger. So you do have to eat in this game, and right now we can't do it because we don't have any food.
Okay. Well, I think all we can do at this point is just to go into the map and look for food, basically.
So already our noble multiple-legged hero on their way to the Mushroom Village to like solve the mystery of the psychic man goat is starving and needs to find some food. Okay, so we're actually in a Caves of Qud map. Like this is a procedurally generated map. If we die of hunger, I'm gonna be so depressed. I'm gonna be. So we're in. Oh, hey, we discovered something. Tomb Rod. Okay, so when you walk around Caves of Qud, there are various procedurally generated locations that you can discover. This is kind of like an ancient ruin. It's called Tomb Rod. It gets inscribed in your journal, and then it's kind of a secret that you have that you can trade to people later who might be also interested, like NPCs who might be interested in ruins themselves. So we're going to walk around this ruin and see if there's any food or anything else interesting. Okay.
We know we're dying of hunger. Yeah, they go through the door. Yeah, and these are just ruins, so these are like totally overgrown, and there is some very dangerous stuff that we could find here.
Okay, so
so this is a.
So these are some creatures like we won't. So this is like a giant insect. There's also a giant dragonfly there. The jungle has all sorts of creatures, so we're going to use some of our abilities. Okay, look, we set it on fire. That's what that is. We set the insects on fire.
First blood.
Yeah. Congratulations. That's.
Yeah. Good point.
Yes,
Thank you. We will definitely eat the giant dragonfly.
Yes. Okay.
That hits the spot. Now we could continue on, or we could continue to explore these ruins.
I think you need a little more food.
We probably need a little bit more food.
You're still
but
hungry, so.
We don't have a ton of time, so we can't really linger here.
Okay. An interesting thing to note is that we will be adding a more interesting hunger system soon. Not that the current one isn't great and everything, but the next one will be better too, so we won't like starve to death as often. But hopefully we'll be able to find some more food and then continue on. Oh, it's a shrine. Okay, so look. So there are these shrines to ancient sultans of Qud, who are these like ancient rulers of Qud. So let's just read this here because sometimes they're interesting. Okay, it's a shrine to Ithratafa II, the Weighted Devil. On the anniversary of a great battle, a gambler found a babe with a fortuitous token in each hand outside her gambling den. She and her fellow gamblers adopted the babe and named him Ithratafa II.
Wait a second. Does this sound like somebody was trying to pay back a debt and they were like, here's some of the money that I owed you and also a baby? And they were... I mean, was that really a fortuitous event?
It's a troubling story.
That's how history remembers
So
if we're Tafa at least.
So there's procedurally generated history in Caves of Qud, and if you want to hear about it, come to my talk tomorrow because I'll be talking about it. But you can find these like shrines and engravings and paintings of this ancient culture and read about them, and they're real locations in the game that you could go visit. So we just learned about some ancient king who was adopted by gamblers to pay off some gambling debt or something. Okay.
Yeah, we're not finding any food here. I think we should just press on because
All right, let's press
if
on.
we can make it there, there's food at the
Okay,
village.
let's. Oh, there are hostels nearby. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we're back on the world map. We're dying of hunger.
Okay, we didn't get very far.
Oh, okay. All right. So, we sensed a sinister presence nearby. So what that means is that somewhere on the map, our evil twin has spawned.
Question. Is
Psychic, don't we? I mean, it should be here.
question.
Yes, question.
Is our evil twin also dying of hunger?
Yes, actually, yeah. It
that
would be.
true?
Yeah, it would be.
But has anyone who's played Caves of Qud seen their evil twin die of hunger? That's a nice achievement
well,
idea.
the way that the hunger works is we're just not going to be able to like regenerate naturally from resting or anything. So
All right, so let's try to find this
yeah,
evil twin now.
it's
Can you zoom in again? If we-
I zoomed out because I want to see if he's on the map, but oh,
There's a goat.
okay, that.
Here, zoom in though, so we can, because it's like too hard.
Oh
to
yeah,
see.
okay.
Okay, so
Well, this isn't. None of. He's gonna.
up more to the right.
Here. Okay. Left. I hear some people saying right and some people saying left. Sorry, go ahead. Like this area. This guy. Yeah, this is a hermit.
That's a hermit.
Yeah, our evil twin will look exactly like us. So let's just kill a bunch of these things and then.
All right, so these are like there's a tribe of forest.
we're eating them.
dwellers.
Whatever it is, we're eating it.
We're eating them.
Oh wait, okay. Now I know that our evil twin is nearby because that blue outline means that we're being time dilated, which means that he's using his time dilation to slow us down. So I think we've got to use ours to counteract that. I don't know what happens with conflicting time dilation fields. It will be interesting to learn.
Yes.
Okay, now we've activated ours.
Okay, so we don't quite even see him yet. So this little effect here is telling us that we're under the effect of a time dilation field, and also that our
there he
enemies
is.
are. Okay, there he is.
He's
There
down
is.
here.
So let's click on him. Oh, it's evil you, evil Rodney. So he's aggressive, and he's wearing all of our equipment, which if you will despawn
Wait.
because he's from another dimension. It despawns when we kill him, so you can't like kill your evil twin and then double all your loot every time. He does come back, or another version of yourself. will
Okay,
come back.
this is kind of strange though. There is a difference with this version of him. Do
Okay.
you notice what it is?
Oh, he's used some of his tonics.
Oh, that's why he has burrowing claws.
Yes.
Okay.
So here's the thing.
That's why he has giant claws.
Yes. So we have in our inventory what's called a tonic, which is essentially the Caves of Qud equivalent to a potion or a scroll. Or a potion, I think they're more like. So they do different things when you inject them into yourself. So one of them is called the Skulk Tonic, and it gives you burrowing claws. You grow burrowing claws on your hands, and you could like burrow through walls. So Evil Rodney has like seen us and has like injected himself with a bunch of these tonics because he's like, whatever. Oh, look, okay. So Nick's fighting him right now.
Yeah, I'm just gonna fight him. We still don't have a lot of time.
He lit us on fire. We lit him on fire. He's shooting lasers at us now. That's what those little asterisks are. Yes, good point. Like we should be occasionally deflecting them because we have light manipulation now. Of course, he'll be occasionally deflecting our lasers as well. And an evil twin battle can get somewhat chaotic.
What's he doing?
So We have an HP bar at the bottom here.
I'm going to berate him. I think that's an appropriate thing to do
like
for all versions of yourself.
there, you can see this red HP bar at the bottom. That is how much HP we have. We have 108, but if you could see, we have like 3/5 HP left. We're currently berating Evil Rodney. What do you imagine you're saying to him?
Well, I mean, we must know everything that will like cut right to his core, right?
That's true. What would our mother think? Okay, so what had happened? So here's the problem with playing with fire is that occasionally you set other things.
He's
on
almost
fire.
dead.
So we set a tree on fire and it burnt down. There's smoke. This gray particle effect here is. Oh, we killed him.
Yay. And now we get the spoils of all the corpses to eat.
Yeah, unfortunately we don't get Evil Rodney's loot, but we do get to eat the corpses around that like died as a casualty of the battle. Oh yeah, you can
Yes.
proselytize.
Oh yeah, you're right. I
So we
forgot I
have,
had that ability.
because
Thank you.
we're a water merchant, we have a high ego, we actually can use this power called proselytize, where if we can...
It worked.
Oh, it worked.
We persuaded this goat folk savage to join us.
Yeah.
So do we want to give him a name? Can we do that?
We can give him a name. So we now have following us a goat folk savage.
Well, we convinced him to join our cause. We are a snake, despite the fact that we're like a multi-legged mind wizard.
Yeah.
We happen to be a very charismatic one.
Right.
So,
So we can rename. So we could either enter a name for the goat folk, or we could choose a random name from our culture, or we could choose a random name from the goat folks culture.
goat
folks'
folks'
culture, okay.
Nathmin.
Nathmin.
No,
This is not that goat folk.
this
but
is just a random goat folk that we found wandering around.
What? Well, he's not random, right? He's Nathmin.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Nathmin. He's
So-
standing right there. I should have known better.
Okay, so let me say that goat folk are a species of these like bestial goat people who live in this jungle, and they have villages. You could actually find them and interact with them. They're mostly trying to kill you, but like any creature in the game, if you get enough reputation with their faction, they'll actually like be friendly with you and invite you into their town, and even occasionally fight with you. So there are goat folk all over the jungle. Now, Mammon Soul Drinker is this like really special shaman goat folk psychic who we're looking for. We'll know him when we find him, which I think we're unlikely to do at this point because we're still trying to reach the original
All right,
village.
finally we found a chitinous puma corpse, which is a real meal as far as
As far as you're concerned.
as far as I'm concerned. I think that they're technically crabs and not pumas. So it's
I think
kinda,
they're supposed to be pumas who have a chitinous exoskeleton, but they're incorrectly labeled in the game as crabs.
we're almost there. I think we can continue.
All right, just go for it.
No. Oh, I think we should really press on.
But let's press
I
on.
would love to explore these ruins. but
Let's go. We need to. This time is of the essence here.
No. Okay, we're there.
Okay, we've arrived at the jungle village of Kayukakaya. So there are a bunch of little mushroom huts here. So this is a village. I think the first thing we should do is get some food.
We're gonna buy some food. So there's a merchant over here named Ural, who's a sentient cucumber vine.
Yeah. So
Let's talk.
hold
to
on.
Ural.
Okay. Let's talk to Ural. So Ural is a merchant. He's a cucumber vine, and as we see, he sells you his own cucumbers to eat.
Which we will happily buy at this point because we've been starving wandering through the jungle. But and let's sell some of this other junk we've got too.
So
junk.
we'll leave you to parse
Yeah.
out the ethics of this. But for now, what? Are sentient cucumbers vegan? It's a good question. Okay, so
It's this number down here.
yeah, so we have 558 drams of water, or like Is that actually? That's not how much we have.
yeah.
It is how much we have. Okay. And so the left screen, the left tab is Ural. Ural is the name of the merchant. Ural's inventory. The right tab is our inventory. And so right now what Nick is doing, I'll just summarize, he's just kind of buying some ammo. When you get to a new merchant, to a new village in Caves of Qud, like it's a nice chance to stock up on some goods, some ammo. Okay, so why don't we go talk to? Yeah, now hold on a second. So we have a guest. We have a guest voice actor to do the dialogue here for Warden Indrix. Jim, do you want to come up? Okay.
Yeah, there's one over here, I think.
So we're approaching this this man goat, who happens to be the sort of sheriff of this village. So why doesn't Rodney initiate dialogue with the? Okay.
Marrakesh traveler.
I am in search of work.
I've got one task I know to offer. It is treacherous and you are weak, and in all likelihood, you will perish like everyone else. Is your interest waned?
No, of course not. How could it be?
It's a long story. There's a goat we really don't like. He's mean and he's purple, and he's possessed by a crystal, and along this riverbank to the north and then eastwardly, Mammon Soul Drinker keeps crushing everybody we send over there. He has explained to me this prism reflects light, but I tell you this thing is cursed. Cursed. No man or goat may safely wield it for long. Travel to the village. Retrieve the prism by Mammon from any means necessary. Kill him. Do you understand?
Well, if you're such a badass goat man, why don't you retrieve it yourself?
Because, traveler, Mammon is my elder brother. He would discern my presence before I could strike.
Okay, I get that. Is there anything else I should know?
Yes, he will likely have several gold folk under his enthrallment.
So do I, but okay, go on.
Take care to stay out of his cruel reach, for his power is most potent when he lands hands on you. And finally, when you recover the prism, do not, under any circumstances, wield it. I needed to warn you of the consequences should you return to me bearing that charm.
Don't wield the cursed prism. Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm willing.
Okay.
Jim Shepard. Warden Indrix.
Okay, we gotta get moving up this river.
Okay, so we learned something there. Mammon is Indrix's brother. Okay.
I'm just gonna make a beeline for it.
Yeah.
So basically, there's this river north of the town, and we follow it, and eventually he's somewhere up the river. We may or may not see horrible goat folk atrocities on the way. Uh-oh.
Okay, you sense the animus of a vast mind. Someone is near. Okay. Let's continue.
All right.
Okay.
Now we can sense psychic.
All right,
but this
so
doesn't seem to be.
it's time to explain what's going on. So, if you remember that message about someone watching us, which we kind of blithely ignored, what's happening is that because we've accrued enough mental power through our mental mutations, pyrokinesis and light manipulation, we have sort of made waves in the psychic ether, and so other psychics from across space and time, kind of like our evil twin, have taken notice and are coming to, they're coming to try to absorb our psyches, to put it frankly. So just like we have to deal with our evil twin now, we also have to deal with these psychics. Oh, look, so there's a question mark there, so that means that's a psychic.
Well, that's what it looks like when we sense psychic.
We have sensed a psychic, so we don't know who it is, but it's some sort of psychic.
Well, we could avoid it, or we can try to fight it.
Do you want to avoid the psychic or fight the psychic?
Fight it?
Let's fight the psychic.
Okay.
Let's kill the psychic with fire.
Okay, what is he?
Okay, so his I can't. What does that say?
Shimu Shuun no longer. Toe's Harrier Ghost.
Okay, so the long and short of it is there's this very powerful psychic entity called Toe who is sending out these thralls of his to come find you. So what just happened there?
So he used a power called burgeoning to cause evil plants to sprout up from around us.
Are they evil? Like, would you go that far?
Well, I mean, you know, transdimensional. I don't know. Transdimensional might have a negative connotation, or maybe not. Maybe you know.
I mean,
maybe
they are
accepting.
belligerent plants. We could say that much. So can you zoom in a bit so we could? I think, so the jungle, an interesting. It's quite hard to parse what's going on, I guess, unless you are kind of familiar. But
I killed him.
Oh, we killed him. Okay, so we shot him with our mind lasers.
Eye lasers.
With our eye lasers. Okay. All right. So we're going to continue on the river because we need to find Mammon. Let's see how are we doing on time?
We've got 9 minutes.
We got 9 minutes. Oh my goodness.
Okay, we got to move fast.
Okay.
Something bad is happening.
Oh, okay. This is a robot.
Something really bad is happening.
We found a robot called a sawhander. It has equipped rust-pitted saws that will dismember us or dismember our limbs from our body. We do kind of have legs to spare, but we would like to keep them if we can. So let's
I think we need to run.
Let's
this.
run. Let's
there's
get
more
it.
of them.
Oh, there's so many of them.
And then this.
That could be a
This
shaman.
is not a good sign either. Okay, I'm gonna actually sprint. So Caves of Qud has an ability like everybody gets called sprint, which is basically just like I'm getting out of here. I'm running away. That's all I'm thinking about. So we're gonna start sprinting, and we're just gonna run. And we have multiple legs, so we're a pretty quick runner, as you might expect. But actually, I can't resist setting them on fire as I run. I just can't. Okay.
Okay, so we're right. We set the robot on fire. Okay, so these psychics that we're sensing are actually ice frogs. They're frogs that inhabit the forest that can shoot. They have cryokinesis actually, so that's why they're.
This is a goat folk sower, and he's throwing these exploding seeds at us. Which, like, if there are a bunch of them nearby and they start to do this, it really can kill us very quickly. So something I'm doing is like trying to stay back and just shoot them from a distance with this awesome rifle we have because, yeah, well, we'll see if we get killed by a pack of sowers throwing seeds.
So here's the thing. Okay. So
no, this isn't him. This is a different, unique monster.
This is a unique monster. So a pink or purple, whatever, magenta is a signal that this is a sort of legendary version of a monster. So this is a chrome idol. So there's essentially these floating metal orbs that are worshipped by this tribe that inhabits the jungle. This one's name is Ukai Cole. Okay, let's.
So yeah, I just want to mention that this robot is hated by both birds and urchins for torching their villages.
Yeah.
So
well, we can live. The let live part.
I don't know what's happened. Oh, he seems to have the power to shoot beams of fire.
Okay,
so let's leave him alone, I think. Oh no, he's getting into a fight with these. So there's a tribe of goat folk here that is interacting with this tribe of Naftali, and I think they might not like each other.
No, yeah. So they're competing for the territory.
Okay, they set us on fire. They're throwing seeds at. It's me that they don't like, is what it turns out to be. I misread the situation. So we're gonna run because this is very dangerous now.
Okay, so
we're at like half health.
So unfortunately, with 5 minutes left, I don't think we're gonna get to Mammon. So I have a proposal. What?
Oh well, you're. Oh, this is bad. We could persuade one of them to be. Actually, no. So with proselytize, you can only persuade one person at a time. So if we use that ability, we'll lose our other goat folk friend who is around here fighting for us somewhere.
Yeah, what's he been doing?
Yeah, he's not been pulling his weight. He might have died when we ran away. Yeah, we sort of left him to like all kinds of terrible stuff happening back there.
So like, why don't we get out of this situation, and then we can, because we're not quite gonna find Mammon, what we can do is we could use a debug command to summon him directly to us, and just fight him right there.
Well, let's see if get out of this situation. I'm accepting proposals for at this point. Getting in the water seems like it would be intuitive, but actually, depending upon our temperature at this point, it may turn the water to steam, which is in some ways more deadly than the fire itself, strangely. So if that happens, yeah, I don't know. We could try to pat the flames out. I do have our time dilation up, so they're slowed. But yeah, it's not looking great. Sprint is not up. We have 54 seconds. I can intimidate these guys. That's going to make them run away, so I'm going to do that. Oh, and here's another unique goat folk shaman. We do have potions.
Hey, do you have any
Use
potions?
Yes.
So this is okay. So this is important. So this is Cloven Horn. This is not the goat folk shaman we're looking for, unfortunately.
He's hated by bears for slaying one of their leaders, and he's hated by the merchant guild for casting doubts on their beliefs. So he's a
skeptic.
Oh, I thought he was like maybe against capitalism or.
Oh yeah, that's
he's
true.
He's a socialist
shaman.
Goat folk shaman.
Okay. Well, can we recruit him to our side? Can we join his side? Okay.
Okay. So Jim is reminding us to use potions.
Yeah, we have some potions. So here, you know what?
We might be able to hit him with a love injector, which
we
would
have a
cause
love
him to
injector.
fall in love with us. It would require that we get into melee range with him, so it would be very dangerous potentially.
So here,
Okay.
I have a new proposal. Hold on, Mammon. You know, we don't even know if he's real. We have a goat folk shaman right in front of us. I say let's treat that as the challenge. So we could either kill him or I think maybe we'll win the challenge if we could convince him to join us.
I would be personally satisfied. I would love to really help out that nice goat folk warden who we met back at the town.
Right.
If we get this shaman to fall in love with us, we could go back and see if that's good.
Okay, we didn't complete the quest, but
Okay, that cursed prismatic thing you were
Yeah,
talking about,
that's still out
didn't
there.
get it. But look at, Cloven Hoof, maybe as good. Okay, I'm gonna try to do that. Oh,
oh. So
fair.
all's fair in goat folk combat. We have a debug grand.
Yes, I think that was a fair.
We'll die. That was a fair death. Okay, so we have a little morgue file here, and we have a chronology
Poor
for
Rodney.
So the chronology actually, we could read through. It actually includes some quests that we didn't do as part of our debug skipping. So, okay, we fetched a trinket for an old man. We didn't really do that. So what else? You had the feeling of being. Wait, go up a little bit. You had the feeling of being watched and learned that there's a site older than sight. Fair. Your genome destabilized and you gained the time dilation mutation. Okay, you discovered Tomb-Rod. You convinced a goat folk savage to join your cause. You started calling a goat folk savage by the name Nafmin. You journeyed to Kayukaya 3 times.
I guess that's a different story. What happened to Nafmin?
I think Nafmin just left you at when he saw that he didn't think you were too your fate wasn't too promising. He didn't really.
Okay.
He's putting his money on Mammon. You journeyed to Kayukaya, and we slew a psychic, but then on the 26th of Ur-Ut, we were killed by Cloven Horn, the goat folk shaman of Clan Hodor. Okay, so this, like most roguelike challenges, ends in our death, but that's fine. I think we
He
did as well as we could.
charged us and impaled us with his horns.
Yeah, these are the last 30 turns here. So what had happened was that he charged us. He dealt us a lot of damage. He essentially gored us with his horns. And that's Caves of Qud. Yeah.